There we go. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about the Finnish Heritage Museum, like where it's located and all that fun stuff.
Be happy to do so, but wouldn't you want to find out who I am?
Oh, I do want to find out who you are as well.
All right, my name is Lasse, Lasse,
All right.
Hiltunen, Hiltunen. So that's the way my name has been all of my life.
So Lasse?
Lasse.
Lasse.
Yeah, let me teach you something about Finnish.
Okay.
Finnish, the accent's always on the first syllable.
Okay.
In every single word and every single name.
Okay.
For example, Dan Rather was on TV and he talked about Helsinki.
Mm-hmm.
I about threw a shoe at him.
Okay.
He deserved it
Yeah.
because it's Helsinki.
Mm-hmm.
Joo, se on niin Helsinki sanottu niin. Puhun pikkusen suomen kieltä sinulle, että ymmärrät. Ymmärrätkö sä yhtään?
I have no idea what you're saying.
I just said I'd speak a little bit of Finnish at you and see if you understand.
No,
and
definitely not.
You do not understand.
No, I do not. That's why I'm so interested in finding out more about the Heritage Museum.
Well, it's a fascinating place. We have been in operation for this will be our 11th or 12th year.
Okay.
We started 2002. Linda Cadla, who is one of our members, she was the founding source of the museum because she said, what we need here is we need to have a place to put artifacts that belong to the Finnish people and the Finns here in town in Fairport Harbor have had for many years. So that was the idea that spawned the Finnish Heritage Museum. It was originally called the Finnish Museo, which is Finnish
for
museum. Right.
Museo?
Museo.
Okay.
Now, remember? Museo.
Museo.
That's right.
There we go.
Yeah. And it developed little by little, and now we have a building on the right on High Street in Fairport Harbor, 301 High Street, and it's actually the former Senior Citizen Center for Fairport.
Okay.
But before that, it was actually the fire department, the police department, the clerk of office, the clerk of courts, clerks for Fairport Harbor, and the mayor's court and village hall meeting place. The building was built in 1922, so it's been around for quite a while.
About 91 years or something.
That's right.
like that?
That's right. Now, interestingly enough, the building itself, if you've ever been to Fairport, you see those red bricks in the road?
Mm-hmm.
It's built out of those red bricks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And those red bricks are really phenomenal because the way they're built, they are impervious to water. So water doesn't really sink into them, and as a result, when water goes into a brick, it'll break apart because of the freezing, and it'll just start to spall and break apart. They don't. So this building has been standing quite well for almost 100 years.
So you said the building is out in Fairport Harbor. Where exactly abouts in Fairport Harbor?
Well, Fairport Harbor is 1 mile square, so you can't get lost in Fairport. And it's a grid.
Right.
The streets run north and south and east and west. If you look up in the northwest corner and you take High Street, which is one of the two ways to get into Fairport, either East Street or High Street. High Street is on the west side. East Street, obviously, is on the east side.
Right.
And that makes sense, right?
Yep.
So if you take that all the way into the center of town, we are in the center of the village. So that's where we are.
You want to talk about some of the artifacts that are inside the Heritage Museum, if you would?
Okay, that's pretty easy to do. We've got a good selection of things, and one thing interesting about our museum is that we do not put up an exhibit and leave it forever. I know some museums, because of various reasons, do that. What we're trying to do is make sure that we have a display that's current, and it gets changed, every quarter at least. And right now we are doing a display on Finnish businesses.
Okay.
Okay. Have you ever heard of Rappala?
I have not.
Rappala makes Finnish knives.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Nokia?
The cell phone company?
Yes, but see, it's not only a cell phone company. You see it. In fact, they had a story just in this morning's paper about Nokia not being over and out because, well, that's a cell phone division.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a conglomerate company. They actually make tires also.
Oh, okay.
And we have believe it or not, a bright green tire on display.
A bright green tire.
A bright
okay.
green tire. It's the same color as your shirt, and that is almost headed towards fluorescent. And I'll give you another thing.
Okay.
Angry Birds.
Yes.
You know Angry Birds?
Yes.
Okay, what do you know about them?
All I know about them is the video game, unfortunately.
Okay, who developed that video game?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that. I don't remember now.
Rovio.
Rovio? Rovio. I can't roll my R's.
Okay, now guess what happened now? Rovio, if you've been listening to me, the way I pronounced it, you'll know where it's from.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's it from?
Finland.
Beautiful.
All right.
It's a company that is in Finland, and actually what's going on with Rovio is that it's trying to make a niche, a huge niche. Actually, I don't know what the larger counterpart of niche would be. I guess magnum niche or whatever. But not only does it make the cartoon characters and the games, but they are now cross-producing things like little stuffed animals and figures out of plastic and what have you, so that there's a market for that, and they're capturing that market same way as Disney has, with Goofy and Minnie Mouse and what have you. So it's really big time. So we have that on display right now, and then some of our other displays that are kind of permanent. We have one about the war during the what you would know as the Second World War, because Finland fought in that war, and actually Finland had 3 wars in the space of that time period, and they lost because the Russians, were fighting them, and they lost to the Germans. And anyway, to make a long story short on that particular thing, we have some of the artifacts like machine guns and rifles that were used by the Finnish troops. Finnish troops, by the way, they were able to turn back the Russians. 100,000 Finns turned back 500,000 Russians.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Why? They wore white pants, white coats, white hats, and their skis were also painted white. So in snow country, you couldn't see them.
Right.
So that's what happened. They were able to beat them off because the Russians came tromping up the road like the old British did with the redcoats, in formation.
Right.
Easy to knock them off. So we have that on display. We also have a loom. You know what a loom is?
No.
A loom is it's a machine that's hand operated.
Okay.
Where you can make you can make rugs, because you have 2 layers of thread that go through, and then you put a fabric through there and then tie it down so that it makes a rug. Or if you want to get really careful with it, you can make things like table runners or linens. So we have a working loom, and we also have a person. In fact, we have a couple people now who come in every Saturday and they work the loom, so you can actually see the operation in process. Then we sell those products that are made there during Saturdays.
What would be the price setting on something that would be made right in front of the person like that?
It's reasonable. You're talking about $39 or $40.
Okay.
It's not. And besides that, it's handmade.
Right. Exactly.
So it's quite a significant piece of work.
Well, we're gonna go. I'm gonna play a song real quick, or commercials or something. What kind of music do you like to listen to? I don't have any Finnish, unfortunately.
You don't have Finnish?
No, I do not.
See, who's the Finnish composer you should know?
Is it Bach?
No.
No.
Sibelius.
Oh, okay.
You've heard of that, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. It's been a long time. I haven't studied music in 3-4 years now.
All right. which country has a significant section of really, really hard rock?
I'm going to say Finland.
Boy, you're really smart. Good for you. They are into that. The rock that is called that's even almost acid rock.
Okay.
They do a great job with that. Now I'm not into that,
Right.
but
Do you know any band? Can you talk about some of the bands from Finland?
I'm not that up on that type
Okay.
of music. But if you were to ask me back, I could do some research and come back and tell you about
That'd be more than fine.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go ahead and play something real quick, and then we'll go from there. As long as my computer works, right?
On Facebook at www.facebook.com/Lake Effect Radio Station.
Be sure to watch us live on www.livestream.com/LakeEffect.
Sometimes the things we take for granted suddenly become really important. I always thought Lakeland was for someone else. Then I lost my job. I realized I needed to learn more in today's job market. I needed Lakeland. Lakeland gets you ready for good new jobs. It'll fit your schedule and you can afford it. Lakeland really comes through for us. In Lake County, opportunity starts here at Lakeland.
This is DJ Blackrose. Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Lake Effect Radio Station.
Hey Lakeland students, pick up the latest issue of the Lakelander student newspaper to stay up to date with what's happening around campus. The Lakelander will keep you informed and entertained with all the latest campus news, music reviews, political commentary, and everything in between.
Come join Lakeland's speech and debate team. Why debate? Less than 1% of all Americans debate academically. However, that 1% includes 40% of all U.S. presidents, that's 1,900, 44% of the current Supreme Court, and over 50% of Congress. Wouldn't you like to join that 1%? To join, contact advisor Jeanette Brossman, phone number 440-525-7187, or email at jbrossman@lakelandcc.edu, office C2075.
You are listening to Lakeland's Lake Effect Radio.
Like what you hear? Check us out live at livestream.com/Lake Effect.
I'm back. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's up to Nasse? Lasse. It's close. Lasse. Okay.
Yeah, some people try to make that French with lasse. It's not. Lasse. Yeah, lasse. Yeah, there you go.
Lasse.
You'll get it.
I'll get there.
You'll get there.
So we were talking a little bit off the air about a sculpture that you guys constructed. You want to go ahead and talk a little bit about that?
Be happy to. If you go to Fairport Harbor and you go down High Street, you'll climb the hill and go up and down a couple of hills, and you're heading north towards Lake Erie. And you'll have to make a stop there at the corner of High and 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if you look both ways, you're going to stop looking immediately, because on your left-hand side, you'll see the sculpture called the Spirit of Finland that we recently erected. We have done that in less than 10 months from start to finish. It is a 14-foot high, 6-foot wide aluminum sculpture that basically is an abstract. It has fronds. That's the best way I can describe it.
Okay.
You know the mother-in-law tongue that you know that plant?
Yeah.
Okay. If you take one of those and you fold it,
Mm-hmm.
so it makes a V, and then you shape it into into an S shape, then you're going to wind up looking at the Spirit of Finland, along with a couple other little designs that were invoked into that sculpture. So it's quite an interesting thing, and people, when they stop there, they're in awe because they're not expecting something that grand to be striking them in the face. But there it is, 14 feet high, 6 feet wide, and we actually built a foundation for it, which is probably 20 feet wide and about 3 feet high. So it stands up quite high and covers the entire front window, because we've remodeled that building from its original configuration. It's no longer the old Village Hall. It's no longer the Senior Citizen Center. It is genuinely the Finnish Heritage Museum.
Now, what exactly is the sculpture? Is it of a ship? Is it of a...
All right. Without, you can see it if you go to finishheritagemuseum.org.
Okay.
O-R-G. And because I'm also the webmaster, I've posted 85 pictures or so. I actually lost count on them. But those pictures will show the sculpture from start to finish, from the actual paper model we started with to the actual piece that's standing there right now. It was done by Ken Velimäki.
Okay.
Notice the name again?
Velimäki.
Velimäki.
Okay.
By the way, if there's a Mackie on the end of a name, or if there's Nen, N-E-N, on the end of a name, you can pretty well rest assured it's Finnish.
Okay.
Yeah. Your last name is?
Pringi.
Pringi.
Yes.
Okay, so for today you'll be Pringi Mackie.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
All right.
But anyway, Ken Velimäki is a 1955 graduate of Fairport High School, as I am.
Okay.
And he approached us years and years ago, and the idea was then revived just this year to say, hey, let's try this. Because he's got a number of different designs that he'd like to work out. One of them is a bunch of sailboats, but we didn't select that. We selected this one because everybody thought this was really just cool. So the S's that the fronds imply, you have lots of S's in Finland. You first of all, Suomi, S-U-O-M-I, is the actual name of Finland. Suomi, that's the Finnish version.
Okay.
The national bird is the swan. So, by the way, the swan is also a famous sailboat that's produced in Finland.
Okay.
And then you have Sibelius, which you have
mentioned. Yep.
Mentioned that. And you also have things like Sisu. I don't know if you ever heard of Sisu or not.
No.
Okay. Sisu, S-I-S-U, is the Finnish word for intestinal fortitude, for guts, for never giving up. Bulldog.
Okay.
That's what Sisu is. You never give up. So Nike says just do it. Finns just say Sisu. Get out of my way.
I know there's I don't know if it's a cemetery or something out there that's called Suomi. I probably pronounced that wrong.
Suomi Zion.
Yeah, Suomi Zion. That's it.
Yeah, there's a cemetery that is on East Street. It's been there for, I'll bet 125 or more years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You have, it's interesting because a lot of the people buried there are, of course, Finns. And I always love to tell this joke. Fairport is, back in the day, was 50% Finnish, 50% Hungarian, and the rest were foreigners.
Okay. I can definitely actually agree with that.
Okay. What nationality are you, by the way?
My family came from Lebanon when we were younger.
Lebanon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not from when we were younger, but my ancestors, Pringi is actually Lebanese.
Okay.
But I'm Pringi Meister, whatever. Not Pringi Meister, whatever, today.
Oh, all right.
So, yeah, my mom's side came from Lebanon. My dad's side, I believe, was Germany.
Okay. Well, I'm a original Finn. I was born in Finland.
All right. Okay.
I came here when I was 4 years old, went to Fairport Harbor schools.
Right.
And when I went to McKinley Elementary, I I didn't know any English. Didn't speak English when I went.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting is that after I went through school, graduated from Fairport High School, graduated at Kent State, came back as an English teacher. From not knowing English to coming back and teaching English.
Yeah.
That's it's been fun. And to make it even more interesting, the place where I started school,
Mm-hmm.
McKinley Elementary in Fairport, I returned to McKinley Elementary as the principal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I taught at the high school, and then I was the principal at the grade school for 11 years.
Just a complete circle of life.
Circle of life, sure it is.
You just never know where you're going to end up. I mean, that's one of the things I always say. I brought up that cemetery earlier because I always talk about my geocaching hobby. You may not know what that is.
I do.
Oh, you do?
We have a geocaching site behind our museum.
Okay, I'm not sure.
There is a geocache there.
Because I have found one in that cemetery.
Oh, one. Okay, all right.
I have found the one in the except the name is reversed for the cache name. It's actually reversed. They call it Zion Suomi instead
Zion
of
Suomi. Okay.
Yeah, instead of Suomi Zion.
Right. Basically, that name Suomi Zion has been shortened now to just Zion.
Okay.
Okay. So you might want to make note of that.
I will let the person, I know who the person who hid that one. I'll make sure that he finds out.
Obviously, there are more cemeteries than that one in Fairport.
Yes.
But they're not as big as that one.
Right.
They're ancient ones, like on the back of the hill behind our museum. There are some Indian bones or bones of people who were new to Fairport in the 1800s and died because of some strange disease or whatever. And back in the day when they didn't really have a coroner and all that rigmarole that you have these days. So
I feel like, how close are you? I know I'm going back to the discussion we had earlier, but how close are you guys to the Fairport Harbor Lakefront Park? You guys have to be close because I'm starting to picture it.
A block. If you go north another block, you will find the great Fairport symbol, the lighthouse.
I know exactly where you are now.
Okay. If you go down the hill, then you're at the beach.
All right. I live in Paynesville.
Okay.
So about 10 minutes away.
All right.
All right. I'm going to play some commercials here real quick, and then we're going to go into a discussion about the differences and similarities between the English and Finnish language.
I'm up for that.
All right. Here we go.
Come join the Stage Drama Club. You don't have to be an actor to join because we'll make an actor out of you. For more information or to join, contact our president, Kelly Wynn, at 440-477-6375. This is DJ Blackrose. Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Lake Effect Radio Station.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Lake Effect Radio.
Hey Lakeland students, pick up the latest issue of the Lakelander student newspaper to stay up to date with what's happening around campus. The Lakelander will keep you informed and entertained with all the latest campus news, music, reviews, political commentary, and everything in between.
You're listening to Lake Effect Radio, the official radio station of Lakeland Community College in Kirtland, Ohio.
I enrolled at Lakeland because I wanted to get ahead. And today, you need college. And Lakeland is close by and tuition is low. It's convenient with classes day, night, weekends, and online. You can't beat it. And here's the best part. You'll save thousands of dollars and not rack up a lot of debt. My Lakeland credits transferred, and now I'm working on my bachelor's. So take it from me. I'm from Lake County. Opportunity starts here at Lakeland.
Hey Lakeland students, pick up the latest issue of the Lakelander student newspaper to stay up to date with what's happening around campus. The Lakelander will keep you informed and entertained with all the latest campus news, music, reviews, political commentary, and everything in between.
Come join Lakeland's speech and debate team. Why debate? Less than 1% of all Americans debate academically. However, that 1% includes 40% of all U.S. presidents since 1900, 44% of the current Supreme Court, and over 50% of Congress. Wouldn't you like to join that 1%? To join, contact our advisor, Jeanette Brossman, at 440-525-7187, or email her at jbrossman@lakelandcc.edu, or stop by her office in room C2075.
Had to make sure I turned all 3 microphones on this time. So we were talking a little bit off the air about the similarities and differences of the English and Finnish languages. I figure we'd go ahead and have a discussion about that on the air.
Well, what do you want to know?
Like, the pronunciations I noticed are different for Finnish and English. Am I right?
Absolutely.
You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. I mentioned earlier that in every single word and every single name, the first syllable is hit hard. It's accented heavily. It's accented. It's the first thing that you hear. Helsinki.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you should know that it's the first syllable that gets pronounced. Now, obviously, that isn't true in English, or Americanism, we might call it.
Yeah. They pronounce it Helsinki.
Yeah, we say
well,
Helsinki.
yeah.
Which was the night? Which you were saying earlier? There was
Dan
a night.
Rather.
Yeah, Dan
Rather.
Rather. You want to throw a shoe at him?
Yeah, because he pronounced it Helsinki, and it's not right. So anyway, that's one of the things that is important to know. The other thing important to know is that every letter in the Finnish language is pronounced. Every single letter.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see a word, you know that to struggle through it, you better pronounce every letter.
Right.
So that's important to know, because obviously in English, telephone, PH is an F.
Mm-hmm.
You break. How does that work?
Right.
So you don't have that situation. If you wind up with an A sound in Finnish, it's shown as an A.
Okay.
And then you have an A with 2 dots above it. You've seen that before, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's A.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you have those differences in pronunciation. One thing is really significant in Finnish is that you know how to conjugate verbs.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, what's happened too is that Finnish has kind of a conjugation of nouns.
Okay.
Because
I know that.
yeah, it's really interesting. What happens is that if you're talking about the quality of being a dog, there's a word for that.
Right.
And if there's a quality of being many dogs in past tense, there's a form of that word that is used.
Okay.
So it goes on for pages and pages and pages. I mean, to learn that, it takes a while to understand it and then to put it into practice. For example, my Finnish is a little bit rough. However, it's all right for me to get by with it, simply because I use it largely because of the museum.
Mm-hmm.
That you get questions on there all the time.
Yeah.
And I get emails from Finland and all over the place to ask me a question.
Mm-hmm.
And many times I have to translate it so I can answer the question, which is kind of fun. That's all part of the game that you have to make it work. So you learn how to say the words, you learn how to say the inflections, and you learn how to say something about what you're talking about. It's that simple. In Finland, I was there recently.
Mm-hmm.
I was born there, by the way. I think
you told me that off the air, though.
I didn't know that because I wasn't here yet.
Yeah. I was born there in good grief, tell you when, but a while ago. And came to the country and did not speak any English. Of course, growing up in Fairport, you didn't have to.
Right.
Because your neighbor was Finnish, and the people across the street were Finnish, and the people down the block were Finnish, and on the next block were Finnish. So it was pretty easy.
Yeah, you were saying earlier that you told me a joke. I don't know if it was on the air or off the air. You're either 50% Finnish, 50% Hungarian, and the rest are foreigners.
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. And one of the qualities of being Finnish, the language actually separates people from the rest of the world, because Finnish is an absolutely unique language. If you were to draw the Finnish or draw the language tree with English and German and French and Lebanese and all those languages, they're pretty much in the same tree.
He's Lebanese.
I know.
Yeah,
we talked.
I talked about that already with him.
Yeah.
But the Finnish language, take a branch and shove it way over here.
Oh my, okay.
Away off the main branches, because it's different, totally different. You'll get some similarities in Lithuanian and also in Hungarian. There are some similarities between them. And now, for example, we've taken some English or American type words, and it's now used. For example, what do you think a 40 is?
A fork.
Nope.
Ooh.
A 40.
It's your turn. Make sure you're talking into the mic, Alyssa.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I'm not sure.
How about a Cadillac?
A Cadillac. A Cadillac?
Hey, now you're catching on.
Oh,
Oldsmobile.
Oldsmobile.
Yeah. Dotke.
Say that one more time.
Dotke.
Almost sounds like Dodge.
That's what it is.
Oh my gosh.
So remember now, Finnish, you pronounce accent on the first
letter, right?
First syllable. Dotke. D is that sound. O. And then you finish up with ge.
Okay.
You got to pronounce every letter. It's not Dodge.
Right.
It's Dotke.
Dotke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
And you take a Finnish word or an American word, and you just you
accent it.
Yeah, you make it Finnish. Tori. What's Tori?
Tori.
Mennään nyt toriin. Okay, come on, you guys got to get this one. Jeez,
I was on a roll too, getting a couple of the other ones.
I don't know, roll. You got one. So if you're gonna go to the Tori and buy some,
the store.
Yeah, you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the clue word was buy. I mean, oh wait,
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Because I thought with all the letters and stuff, I thought you said you pronounced every letter. I didn't hear the S. That's why I was thrown off.
No,
a
there's
little bit.
no S in it.
There's no S
Okay.
in it, yeah.
It's Tori.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that we did years ago with the museum. We put on a Finnish celebration, which they do every year around the 9th of December or so, because they mark the Finnish Independence Day, which is the 6th, and then they like to do a little Christmas. One of the things we did years ago is that my friend and I sat up on stage. We did this at McKinley Elementary, and we had the whole gym full of tables and chairs and people who came to see what was going on and take part in the show. We sat on stage with nothing but towels around us. Of course, we had trunks underneath, but it looked like we were in the sauna. You've heard of sauna?
The sauna. I've heard of the sauna.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's pronounced. Sauna. It's not
We say
sauna.
Yeah.
Sauna. It's sauna. Anyway, what we did, I made a little giwas, which is the fireplace where you throw the water on the hot rocks, and I had actually the ice that with the ice when you throw the ice.
Yeah.
The dry ice, so it produced steam.
Yeah.
So I had that bubbling, and what we did, we took turns reading the night before Christmas.
Okay.
In Finglish. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house. See?
Yeah, I gotcha.
You put that Finnish accent in, it becomes Finglish, which is a combination of Finnish and English.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be something interesting to attend at some point.
Oh, it's fun.
Absolutely.
Now I have to make a plug because we're talking to the Finnish Heritage Museum. there are Finnish classes on the Lakeland campus that I know of.
Well,
I don't know how good or bad they are.
Well, good for you. Guess what? Finnish Heritage Museum has its own Finnish classes.
Oh, cool.
I just opened another segment here.
How about that?
All right.
Taught by Elaine Lilback, who is 89 years old.
Oh, wow.
She is also, I call her Ace, because she's our reporter for the Finnish American Reporter, which is a publication out of Michigan. Michigan, I hate to say that, but a lot of Finns up there.
That's all right.
And what her piece also winds up is the lead story on the website that I change every month.
Mm-hmm.
So, because every month at the museum we have a program. The one we have coming up in November is called The Edmund Fitzgerald and the Hill Connection.
Okay.
Because every program has to be connected to the Finnish in some way or form, some way or another. The last one we had last month was Finnish candies.
Okay.
There's a whole pile of Finnish candies. Let's say you didn't catch this before. Tell me about Angry Birds.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's I like that game. It's really addictive.
So it's just a game, right?
Yeah.
Well, who made the game?
I can't remember. I just started playing it like a year ago. So.
Okay. You can't remember? Even if we gave you the name? Rovio?
Oh yeah. The company Rovio.
Yeah. Where do you suppose that comes from?
Finland?
Hey, she's catching on too.
She's catching on too. How about that?
You might have noticed me laughing a little bit when you mentioned Elaine Lilback.
Mm-hmm.
I go to church with her.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do. Calvary Fellowship Baptist.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You can tell her that her name was gratefully and admiringly mentioned on Lakeland Radio.
I will definitely do that.
You should do that.
I'm going to next Sunday when I see her next.
Yep. Call her Ace.
Ace?
Ace. Yeah.
Hi, Ace. How are you?
She's the Ace reporter. Then she'll know where the reference came from.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I didn't realize she was involved with the Heritage Museum. Otherwise, I would have told her that we were going to be interviewing you guys this week.
She was, at one time, she was the vice president.
Oh, wow. Okay. 89 years old and still
thereabouts.
at it.
Don't quote me on it because we don't like to tell ladies' ages, but...
No, yeah.
But, let's say that she is... she's a veteran.
Yes, she definitely is.
A veteran.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and play a commercial or two. We've been talking for about 15 straight minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
not a problem.
I'll go ahead and play another couple commercials since somebody changed the song list on us again.
Come join Lakeland's speech and debate team. Why debate? Less than 1% of all Americans debate academically. However, that 1% includes 40% of all U.S. presidents, that's 1,900, 44% of the current Supreme Court, and over 50% of Congress. Wouldn't you like to join that 1%? To join, contact advisor Jeanette Brossman, phone number 440-525-7187, or email at jbrossman@lakelandcc.edu, office C2075.
Come join the Stage Drama Club. You don't have to be an actor to join because we'll make an actor out of you. For more information or to join, contact our president, Kelly Wynn, at 440-477-6375.
You're listening to Lake Effect Radio, the official radio station of Lakeland Community College in Kirtland, Ohio.
Sometimes the things we take for granted suddenly become really important. I always thought Lakeland was for someone else. Then I lost my job. I realized I needed to learn more in today's job market. I needed Lakeland. Lakeland gets you ready for good new jobs. It'll fit your schedule and you can afford it. Lakeland really comes through for us. In Lake County, opportunity starts here at Lakeland.
Are you Hispanic? Are you interested in Hispanic cultures? Looking for a way to get more involved on campus and in the community? Join the Hispanic Union Club. We're a diverse group of students who passionately seek to embrace, promote, and enjoy the richness of Hispanic cultures in fun and exciting ways that range from salsa lessons to fiestas to community service projects. Come learn more at one of our informational meetings on Wednesday, November 6th at 4 or Thursday, November 7th at 4:30 in S217. We'll discuss ideas for this year and best of all, enjoy some free pizza. Hope to see you there.
Come join Lakeland's speech and debate team. Why debate? Less than 1% of all Americans debate academically. However, that 1% includes 40% of all U.S. presidents since 1900, 44% of the current Supreme Court, and over 50% of Congress. Wouldn't you like to join that 1%? To join, contact our advisor, Jeanette Brossman, at 440-525-7187, or email her at jbrossman@lakelandcc.edu, or stop by her office in room C2075.
Be sure to watch us live on www.livestream.com/lakeland.
These days, learning never ends, and college really matters. So more people than ever are going to Lakeland Community College. People of every age are trying to learn something new, and Lakeland is for everyone. High school graduates just starting out, people trying to get good jobs, or just trying to improve themselves. At Lakeland, it's never too late to learn. It's our college. In Lake County, opportunity starts here at...
Hey Lakeland students, pick up the latest issue of the Lakelander student newspaper to stay up to date with what's happening around campus. The Lakelander will keep you informed and entertained with all the latest campus news, music, reviews, political commentary, and everything in between.
Come join the Stage Drama Club. You don't have to be an actor to join, because we'll make an actor out of you. For more information or to join, contact our president, Kelly Wynn, at 440-477-6375.
You're listening to Lake Effect Radio, the official radio station of Lakeland Community College in Kirtland, Ohio.
Back again, are we?
We're back again.
Hi, Steph. We're busy right now.
So you were telling us off the air about Finn Hollow. Tell us exactly what that is.
What that is?
Yes.
Okay, there is an area of Fairport, and I love Fairport history. And you should. There's a book on it that was published in 1976. That's quite good. But anyway, Finn Hollow was the area between. Actually, that hollow, it's kind of like a valley that goes between Vine and the river, so it goes west. Okay. And in the hollow between Eagle Street and High Street, and then down the hill towards the river, that was called Finn Hollow. And the reason why it was called Finn Hollow was simple. The Finns came and they built houses that were owned by the company. Okay. So they got a chance to live there, and they worked for the company. You remember that? You don't remember this song, 16 Tons?
The old 16 tons of what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt.
That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's essentially what you had there, too, because Finns came to Fairport Harbor in about 1880.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
We have researched that very carefully. And the first person to actually lead a bunch of Finns into Fairport was a fellow by the name of Hilston. You've heard that name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he brought in a number of Finns, and what they did, they worked on the ore boats.
Okay.
Now, what they did, because you didn't have automatic unloaders, they would shovel using a coal shovel. You've seen those, haven't you? And they would shovel tons a day. Up to 20 tons a day, a gang would take off a boat.
Jeez.
It's incredible. One of our members, John Olola, his grandfather worked on one of those gangs, and he actually would lay a coal shovel down on the ground, and you could get and stand in the shovel, and he could pick you up like this.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, I mean,
Strong.
you get muscles like that from that constant back-breaking work.
Yeah.
So these people who worked on the boats needed a place to live, and that's what Finn Hollow. It was composed of a bunch of houses that were built there, some small, but some quite large. And then after the company said, "Well, we've got to, we need the ground."
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was that many of these houses were moved, and they still exist in Fairport Harbor. And one of the things that the museum has done is that we have posted on each one of those moved houses a plaque that says "Original Finn Hollow House."
Okay.
So it's kind of cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
So those folks left Finn Hollow because they had to, but they took their houses and moved them into town somewhere else in Fairport Harbor.
Okay.
Now, obviously not far because Fairport Harbor is
One
a
square
mile,
mile.
one square mile, so it's not very far, but it's part of the history. So the rest of that land was still there, owned by the company, and that's why it was called Finn Hollow.
So what were these houses exactly made of? If they can just
Wood.
pick them up and move wood?
Wood,
Okay.
sure. See, you also should know this too, is that obviously when you build a house now, you've got to get umpteen, inspections and permits and up the proverbial yin yang. I hate to use that term.
That's fine. That's
but,
fine.
Up the proverbial yin yang to make sure that you are able to build that house. Back in those days, didn't have a cement foundation.
Right.
So it was easy to knock the house down. And many times what happened was that these houses were indeed knocked down by a strong wind or whatever. But these particular houses were essentially pretty substantial, because one thing Finns do know what to do, and that is work with their hands, and they know how to work with wood.
Right.
Because Finland, I don't know if you know this or not, Finland is basically a little bit of ground where the trees grow, and the rest is water.
Right.
You've heard of 10,000 lakes?
Like similar to Minnesota, yeah.
Yeah, but like 100,000 or 300,000. It's huge.
Yeah.
If you look at a map, you look at Finland like it's a piece of Swiss cheese.
No, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, Finn Hollow was an interesting place, part of Fairport's history, and it's we're preserving that history. I should tell you about what we did also. This is fascinating. I am a genealogist. I've been studying my own family for, oh my goodness, probably 50 years.
Okay.
Genealogy. I'd
Yeah.
love to find out more about my ancestors.
Yeah.
than I
Yeah.
did.
One thing I'll tell you right now is that do that, but do it with an idea of finding out your medical genealogy.
Okay.
Because you can save your life that way.
Oh, wow.
I once had a book. I lent it out, and of course it's gone now. But it suggested that you should look at what people died of in your family, so that'll give you an indication of what you might die of, and take precautions so you don't die of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna die eventually, but maybe it won't be too soon because you were smart enough to say, "Hey, I better not do that."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I quit smoking 37 years ago. If I hadn't, guess what? You would not be talking to me today.
Right.
Anyway, genealogy.
Yeah.
Little side note, I like to do that.
That's fine.
I started the Genie Club in the museum, so it's a part of and we're called the Genies.
I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, that's a cool name.
And I gave them a list of 23 original Fairport Finns. And we researched those, and of course that expanded, and that expanded, and that expanded, and now we have 2.5 filing cabinet drawers full of folders, full of cross-referenced Finnish families that at one time lived in or were connected to Fairport Harbor.
Oh, wow.
Hundreds and hundreds of names.
Dang. That's crazy.
I can't imagine just having that much information. What exactly do you do with that sort of information afterwards?
Well, I'll tell you what's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because I monitor their website, I get all the mail that comes in, the email that comes into the museum. We get emails from all over the world, including Finland,
right?
But also we get a huge number of emails from the United States saying, do you know anything about the Maunosari family?
Okay.
Or the name Kivimäki.
Okay.
Obviously, those are Finnish names.
Right.
And, we go and look and we say, well, we do have something. Well, can I see it? Sure you can. But you'll have to make an appointment to come see our resident genealogist and make an appointment and see what she has to say for you. And so we have people coming from around the country, stopping in just for that business.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Sounds pretty popular.
Oh, well, genealogy right now is the thing to be involved in.
Yeah.
And my family goes, I've got my family back to the early 1700s.
Okay.
And Finland, by the way, has one of the very, very best genealogical record sources available because the churches in the various villages and towns kept that stuff and kept it in their records. There were books about people who were born, who died, who got married, and even who left and who came into the village. So it's quite extensive. Now, that was never centralized. So, they didn't take the book and send it to Helsinki, Finland, the capital. It stayed in the provinces, in the particular churches. And so when you look things up, it's there. It didn't get lost or bombed or destroyed or burned.
Right.
Now, a couple of the churches got burned and destroyed, which lost the records for that particular area, but the rest is still there. And because, by the way, Finns are terrific when it comes to, because of Nokia, for example.
Right.
They know digital stuff. They're whizzes on digital stuff. Rovio is a good example. And so they are digitizing all of those records from around the country in Finland.
Okay.
So you can do research on the Finnish family of your choosing. One of the situations is difficult in that you got to know Finnish.
Right, which we don't.
No.
Right. But then again, if you're not Finnish, you're probably not interested in researching that. If you are, then you certainly are interested in researching that.
It's one. I can't imagine going into a database. And finding all this information. 3-4 years ago, my family actually got me a packet of everything about my family's history that they had known so far. Now I'm wondering if I should start digging back into that again.
You absolutely should.
I want to.
I think I should.
The Finnish records go back to, in some cases, back to the 1500s.
The 1500s?
Yeah. Now I've done I started my wife's genealogy, and she has picked up the bug too, because once you get hooked,
you're hooked.
You're
done.
She has gone back with her family, parts of her family, to Troy.
Oh wow!
As in Helen of Troy,
right?
Oh my god!
Way back then. She also is related to on her father's side, in one section of that genealogy. To a fellow who is purported to be the actual writer of Shakespeare's stuff.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Because there's some question about that.
Right.
Yeah. So, could be that her relative wrote the Shakespeare stuff and Willie didn't do it at all.
I know my genealogy. I know my family is linked to a United States senator from Oklahoma from back in the 1800s.
Oh, my God.
Well,
so I know that. Other than that, I haven't researched since.
Right. There you go.
His name was Robert Pringy Mike.
I was told by my mother that I possibly have English royalty on my mother's side. From way back when. But I don't know his or her name.
Well, now is the time to start.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's interesting, because Ancestry.com I don't know if we're plugging Ancestry.com, but we might as well because it's the best one out there.
Right.
I tried it.
You've tried it?
Yes.
You know that thing about the little green leaves that pop up?
Yeah.
It's true. It gives you possibilities of things that you might research. And I've done this, and my wife has done this, where she's started looking into that at 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, my gosh.
And I get up the next morning, and she's still there, and it's like, wait, are you still up? Yeah, the green leaves kept popping. So that's what happens. And I highly recommend that for anybody these days because, you know, the medical aspect, it's good to know.
Right.
Because if you don't check that out, you might be doomed.
Yeah.
And you can take steps so that you are not doomed.
Right.
So it's good.
All right. Well, I hate to do this, but I got to get back to work in 7 minutes.
All right. I'll tell you what. It's been a wonderful time talking to all of you. And your listeners, I invite all of you to come visit the Finnish Heritage Museum, 301 High Street in Fairport Harbor, or go to finishheritagemuseum.org, and you can. It's a huge site. You will spend. I guarantee you will not spend 20 minutes there because you'll spend a lot of time looking at stuff. So do that. And right now, because of winter hours, are only open on Saturdays. From 10 to 3. During the summer, we are open on Wednesdays and Sundays also. But it's important to note that we are entirely 100% a volunteer organization. So my paycheck has a bunch of zeros in it. And it doesn't get written anyway. So all of the people who are part of the museum, and there are now over 300 members.
Okay.
Which is quite good when you think about it.
Definitely.
Come visit. You will get a tour. We have excellent tour guides that can talk you through the stuff and point out the interesting things. And then you can buy a cup of coffee.
Okay.
The Finnish coffee that we have, it's Finnish coffee. It's been ground specifically for us.
Okay.
By a coffee company. And the thing I'm going to save for last is a thing called Nisu.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of
Nope.
Nisu. Nisu. It's also called pulla in some places. But what it is, it's a Finnish coffee bread that is absolutely unique in taste.
Okay.
Because it is flavored with cardamom. Okay? Drew a blank from you.
Yeah.
From both of you. Oh, my goodness, I got it. Cardamom is a wonderful, wonderful seasoning, and there's lots of recipes for nisu or pulla, and it's the cardamom that makes it unique. So I invite all of you to come visit us and tell us that you heard us on Lakeland Radio, and come join us. Tervetuloa. That means welcome.
I know that one.
Okay.
All right, I know that one. I happen to know that one. I've heard that a couple of times, actually.
Tervetuloa.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to sign off with Heippa hey.
See you later?
Well, it's just a generic thing like, hey.
Okay.
See you later. Heippa hey.
All right.
So, if you want to say goodbye to each other, Heippa hey.
Heippa hey. All right.
All right?
Cool. I'll appreciate you coming out today. Lasse. No, I did it wrong again.
No, Lasse.
Was I close?
You were close.
Okay, cool. Lasse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alyssa and Timothy.
That's right.
Yes.
All right.
Trenchinen. I turned these two kids into Finns. All you got to do is add Mackie or Nen to the end of the name, and you got a Finn.
I'm a Priggy Mackie. Woo!
Priggy Mackie and Alyssa Trenchinen.
There we go. All right, thank you very much for coming today.
Kiitos.
All right. Till we meet again, everybody.
Bye.
Well, all right.
A lot of education, which I love to hear. Thank you again for coming today.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Gesta Boygoy.
I didn't hear what you said.
Hey, Gesta Boygoy.
I'm sorry.
Boyka is boy.
Okay.
And it says, you're welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. I like that.
I guess I did all right.
Yes, you did. You did very good. Very informative. actually more than I could have possibly asked for.
It made me want to go to the museum.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
I do definitely want to visit it.